First of all, I love Tracee Ellis Ross. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm going to say this right now, not too much on Tracee Ellis Ross. Let's be clear. I'm going to say that right now. Okay, but apparently she was on the Michelle Obama, or was it Craig Robinson? I'm not sure whose podcast, but they're both on there. And so she was talking about the grief that she feels sometimes, how she lives in it, she sits in it sometimes, in regards to her not having any kids and also not having a partner. That's right, not having a partner was included in her thing that she felt grief about, for those women out there who may not think that's a thing. But with that being said, what are your thoughts about her opening up about the grief that she felt, and Michelle Obama finally doing more episodes of her podcast? So what are your thoughts in terms of, Tracee Ellis Ross and, admitting grief? I feel like the lady should go first on this one.
Yeah, I think so too.
The ladies
I'm
want
going to
to
yield
talk
to
on?
Tia.
Yeah,
Well, no, I'm going to yield to Tia
Okay.
first. No, I'm going to yield to Tia as the new one on the show. Go ahead,
Oh,
Sharon.
gosh. I don't know if it's a male-female thing, but I think that anything that you do too much can breed contempt and or resentment. And so I feel like that may be kind of what she's going through. Like, she probably was overbooked. She was busy. She was paid. She was working regularly and didn't really have time to slow down for a relationship. And having that is great in the moment, but when it's not long standing, then you'll end up regretting or resenting what you've missed. And so it makes sense that she's grieving the relationships. She has to be like in her 50s at this point, thinking about having a child at that age, even if you have a really good partner, is going to be difficult in your 50s. And so, yeah, I think that it's fair that she's grieving. Do I have empathy for her grief? Kind of like, not really. But do I understand it? Sure. I get it.
Oh, what can you tell me a little bit more about the empathy part?
Why I don't have empathy?
Yeah.
Because I think that, the money is so good that you don't want to focus on anything else. So you made a choice. If you made that choice and you exceeded and you excelled at it and life was good for you, then you can't look back and be like, oh, I was a millionaire and I had riches and I was on Essence and I did all these things, but damn, I missed out on this. You can, but I don't have to feel badly for your successes and the things that you had to sacrifice to get there in your mind, because somebody else did it differently.
Okay, S&M.
So I actually am leaning towards that as well. First of all, I'm just going to say this. She chose the path that she was on. She clearly knew at some point in her life, if this was something that she desired or wanted, then that there was going to have to be some type of give and take on her part to get what she desired. And for her, so she chose her career first and foremost. There are women who are career women with families, right? And then there are career women like her who don't have families. I appreciate the fact that she provided a different perspective pertaining to her grief, because so often we hear about how single women are the happiest, right? And so there's these new studies that are coming out that still state that single women are the happiest. However, there's a caveat in this latest one that indicates that Black women still would prefer to be in a relationship. And so I found that interesting, that differentiation within this latest study that was done. I guess it was like 6,000 people who participated in the study. And so for her, I'm just like, come on, as much as I'm going to not do it because you said not too much from Tracee Ellis Ross. All I'm going to say is when she did Girlfriends, she must have set herself up, because that's what her life ended up looking like. That's all I would say. How about that?
Okay. I mean, fellas, what we tippy-toeing around here? What's going on? What's going on? You guys. Delvin, Jay scared.
You're fun? Oh,
Jay scared.
I was trying to pass it over to Delvin, man.
That's messed up.
Listen.
No, but he's playing team ball. He's playing team ball. Go ahead, Delvin.
I'm trying not to be
he's playing team ball.
Yeah,
thank you.
I mean, I think it's pretty, pretty cool of her to be, vulnerable about and talk about that, because there are other women who are, maybe have those similar choices that she's already made, and it could be a cautionary tale or something that can help somebody else out. So I totally get that, and I appreciate that openness and that transparency. But got to be real, man. She had a chance, like the 99 and the 2000. I can't believe that every guy she was in contact with in that social circle and that tax bracket wasn't good enough. I'm just not buying that. At some point, that's a you thing. You know, if you're around the richest, famous, most well-known, high-profile Black men and men in general on the planet, and nobody was good enough or nobody kind of fit the bill, then that's a you thing. I can't have any sympathy for that. I'm sorry. That sucks, and I hate that for her. But I'm just not buying it that everybody was just didn't measure up. That was a choice you made, and that's okay. You are where you are. And that's how I see it.
Okay, that's
But
a
did
fair
she say
point.
that
Jay,
though?
you good?
Did she say they didn't measure?
Ain't no love.
Did she say that?
In
Or
the
No,
heart.
that's a
I
good
mean,
question.
you can't infer anything else other than that.
Other
Well,
than what?
technically,
I
you
mean,
can infer
yeah.
that there was a bunch of
What?
men who wanted babies preferred babies over marriage or carriage before marriage, and perhaps those men were the ones that she was attracting. So there's technically two ways you could infer what was happening.
Well,
Okay.
What you
here's
can
what I do
infer.
know. She may not have had any kids, but I'm going on a limb to say she probably wasn't celibate. So I mean, you make time for what you want to make time for. There's choices. I mean, that's my girl. That's my boo. I love her. I'm here for
This is still
girlfriends and
inbounds.
everything.
Yeah.
But
Mind you, I'm the Tracee, referee here, so this is still in bounds. He's making
Still okay,
salient
good,
points.
good.
There's nothing out of bounds that he has said.
No flag on the play.
Yeah, no flag on the play. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah,
It's all
so
in bounds. Thank you.
okay, I'm gonna try to stay in balance. I really am. So now I don't really have. I don't. Okay, so I have sympathy with everybody who felt sorry for her. Okay, I have sympathy for those people, and the reason I have sympathy for them is because something in her situation resonated in your situation, and I think I might know what it is. I think you've realized you can't have it all. You realize that story of your life that you imagine, you have somehow managed to get a lot of it, or maybe enough of it that you can show to other people, but not enough that you're happy. And so now you're like, dang, I wish I had done this, wish I had done that. But like my brother was saying earlier, it's opportunity cost, right? And it's okay. It doesn't mean, because what I really think she's scared of is, I really think she's scared of two things, right? Dying alone, right? Okay. And of not having experienced certain dynamics and relationships in her human experience that she would have likely had she been a wife and a mother, right? Some relationship dynamics. Now, y'all say that, she was picky, she was evident why she's single. Yeah, I believe she was picky. I think that she knew what kind of vibe she wanted, and she was not going to sit down with anything that wasn't her vibe. And I'm good with that, right? I think her grieving now is that she has failed to reshape her vision. She has failed to say, you know what? Just because it's not like this, I still have this, and I could be poly. I'm just gonna say it. Now, for real, all jokes aside, seriously, change your dynamic. What family looks like, what raising kids looks like. You can still have the experience that you always wanted, and you don't have to grieve.
Look at Jay being solutions oriented. When I first pictured this story, it's interesting how, like, when you go on Instagram and you swipe, because it was like, I think on the Shade Room, and it was breaking down into like several different slides. So when I saw the first slide, I was like, oh, this is what's up. And I think that's when she was talking about the grief that she was feeling. And so I was like, oh, that's what's up. Because you rarely really hear people be that vulnerable to talk about grief in that way. I feel like when I hear grief, it's like a sense of loss. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so, and when I hear that, I also kind of hear a sense of regret. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times, like, even with the Ebony K's, there's been a lot of conversations, oh, I'll just be the rich auntie and all that other kind of stuff. But then you meet somebody who, low key, she should be happy as the rich auntie, right? Or at least if she made these choices, then she should be good. So for me, what I heard was somebody who still is not reconciled in her choices. Like, when women make these choices, maybe I'm just thinking at it from a logical male brain. I've made a lot of choices in my life, and if I truly was solid when I made them, I stood on them, I'm not going back feeling no type of way about it like that, for real, because I did consider those things. It sounds like a lot of people be going through life not making certain considerations and then kind of find themselves having to grieve the fact that they've misstepped, because to me, that's what I hear. It goes back to the whole Michelle Obama thing. It's like, if you made that choice on the front end, why are we still tripping about it on the back end? It sounds like to me that you just didn't really reconcile with that. And so I thought it was beautiful that she was open about it, because I think women needed to hear that. I mean, this is Tracee Ellis Ross, for goodness sake. This is a woman who, I think by all accounts, people think she's attractive, she's smart, she's funny, she checks a lot of boxes, right? And so I think that's where the first slide was. But then when I slid again to the second slide to answer Tia's question, she started talking about men today, for example, because I think she's already given up on the kid thing. And she started talking about men today. And I guess the challenges she's facing now. She talked about how she'd meet guys, and she used the example of maybe some men who she would meet, maybe like homophobic, or they would use certain language. She's like, my God, I'm using this language, right? And right there was what Delvin was talking about, the truth. Right? Because a tiger doesn't change their stripes like that. You feel me? The way that she was talking in the rest of the slides indicated to me that I didn't really hear no accountability for real, for real. I heard somebody explaining a feeling that they were having and then went on to like talk about why she's having an issue now. I did not hear accountability, to be honest with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I heard some vulnerability, kind of, I guess, if you're talking about you grieving. But to me, and no knock to Michelle and Craig, but they weren't really good hosts or fucking interviewers. Like, what do you mean by grief? Why would you feel grief? When you were going through your life, didn't you know you was making these choices? Like, can you walk us through why you feel grief? You're such a healed and whole person. Walk us through how you've healed through that grief that you still are sitting in periodically. She act like she was a victim of some accident that happened to her that she is still having to learn how to cope with, as opposed to being accountable for her fucking life choices. And right then and there, crumbled right in front of my very eyes, was the image that I had of her. Nah, boo, I agree with Delvin 100%. And I'm gonna land with saying this for y'all women who want to sit there and empathize low key. Because what she does is almost makes it impossible for y'all to have any excuse for real, right? Because if she can't find a man, who am I to be able to go out there and find a man? You know what I'm saying? If Tracee Ellis Ross, she didn't have to date an athlete or date a nigga on her financial level. She could have had a pick of niggas, and y'all could stop and miss me with the, oh, sometimes if she dates a guy who makes less to her, you didn't know. You didn't try for real. There's no credible way that she made it through Hollywood and couldn't find a husband. Make that make sense. The chances, even with her mama being Diana Ross, and her mama was Diana Ross. So with that, I'm saying, fuck that. You broke my heart. In the words of Drake, you broke my heart because you're just like the rest of them. I was going to give her grace if she at least was accountable, but she didn't account for a motherfucking thing. And if nothing else, it made me realize why she's single now, and most likely will probably always be single. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. It was not too much, but fucking everything on Tracee Ellis Ross.
Okay, so I just want to jump in and say I'm proud of you, Nick, because I was trying so hard, and then for you to go ahead and just let it out, I'm proud of you because, I was like, she got to cosplay. That's all that matters. So we know what being a wife is like. She just don't know what it's actually like. She ain't lived it. But you know what I'm saying? I love it.
Got to play one on TV.
She played one on TV. That's wrong.
That's all you got, SNM. It hurts.
I'm just saying, I'm just happy. I'm excited. I was not expecting this turnabout.
No, man, because the first thing got me and I kept on going and I'm like, my mouth was agape by the time I got to the
Not
fifth
agape.
slide. You know what I'm saying?
Agape.
She says, so listen, I know everybody trans, whatever, like we all cool, but some of the stuff she was saying as the example, I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Where's the accountability? Come on, man. The same thing with Common. Come on, man. Maybe her and Common should get together. Two fuck niggas and a fuck chick getting together and maybe making something happen. I am so disappointed in her. I'm heartbroken. You broke my heart, Tracee Ellis Ross. You and Ebony K, sit y'all asses over there. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Esther.
I'll just say, Tia, you want to say something before I jump on to the next one.
I mean, what I heard was that women don't have the option in changing their minds. Like, that might have been 20 or 30 years ago before the money was rolling in and the opportunities were rolling in. And she was unbusy when she said, hey, I need to dedicate all this into my life and my career. And maybe now that she has that and that has slowed down finally, now she's like, damn, I made the choice 30 years ago, but I changed my mind. Now, the sad part about it is your ovaries and things, she has enough money to make those things go back. She can have a surrogate if she wanted to. She doesn't need a man to have a baby. Let's be very clear. She can grow one in a tube and it'll be hers and the world will never know the difference. We're going to honor it just the same. Like, she changed her mind. Grief does not always mean tolerance and acceptance. It means it's a portion of understanding you lost something that you would rather have. That's it.
She changed her mind. It didn't sound like. Did you watch the rest of the slides? I could hear what you're saying, and I'm glad you said that, Tia. And we can move on to them. But that's the thing, right? If she would have came out and said, "You know what? I'm feeling grief because looking back on it, I know I prioritized certain things, right?" And she would have had that conversation. That's why I said they did a piss poor job, or at least maybe I just saw the clip, so I take that back. Maybe they dove into it, but the clip that we saw, the part that we saw, didn't really delve into that core, the core of the grief. You know what I'm saying? And it does people a disservice because there's a lot of young women today making this choice. And we're going to probably talk about it a little bit later. But this is the quintessential question I think a lot of women today are dealing with in terms of modernity, their careers, their explorations, the desire for family. And to Devin's point, this idea that you can have it all. So I just think it's heartbreaking because I didn't see that part from her. So if it's on me, Tracee, I'm sorry. I do want to love you. But if that's the type of time that you're still on, that part I did see, girl, you need somebody to help you. You know what I'm saying? You're in your own way. You've always been in your own way.
I'm available.
And let's be honest, as big of a star as she is, she ain't that big of a fucking star. Even Beyonce was able to go out there and get herself a husband that's to have some fucking kids, okay? So miss me with your C-level ass.
My
she
God.
went out there and found somebody to get with. Go ahead. I love her, but we got to be honest.
No, not after he protected her. Not like that. Not like that.
Not her C-level ass. You know what? Who apparently...
Oh, you think she's a B-level celebrity? Who here thinks she's a B-level celebrity? Raise your hands if you think she's a B-level.
I'll give her B.
I'm saying we all like her too much.
Okay,
we all like her too much to say it in public.
Go ahead.
Look, we can't skate past what Nick said. Look, you're not busier than Beyonce, who got married and had 2 kids. You're not.
Look
not
what she married.
Ooh.
And we talk about settling in standards.
Yeah.
Now, maybe if Tracee Ellis Ross had settled the way Beyonce settled.
Oh, not Jay-Z, not too much on the Jigga Man.
And a settling.
I love Hov, but let's keep it real. Like, he was not the prime pickings when he met Beyonce. First of all,
she was looking for another father.
Well, because she was 17.
We're not going to go down this rabbit hole.